So the young man traveled days and nights, weeks, and even months until he reached that man, old wise man, to ask him how to be happy in life. So he said he found that he's not the only one seeking this man's advice. As a matter of fact, there's a long line of people ahead of him. So when his turn came, the old man told him, "Young man, what is you here for?" Everybody there for some reason. He said, "I want you to teach me how to be happy in my life." Then he said, "Now it became too late. I only have a designated time for counseling people. But I will give you an exercise to see how good you are first. And if you pass it, I will teach you." He said, "What should I do?" He said, "I want you to take this spoon," and he put in the spoon drops of oil. And he said, "I want you to take a tour inside the mansion, from inside and outside, and see if you can do that in 10 minutes and come back." So the young man put the spoon, put the oil, and started walking all over the place, came back exactly in 10 minutes, you know what, thinking that he is a good man who deserved to be given the secret of happiness. So the old man asked him, "Did you tour the house?" He said, "Yes." He said, "Did you pass by that Persian carpet that I bought from Iran when I visited in this and this year?" He said, "No, I haven't seen that. I was just trying to come here in time." He said, "What about my library? Did you see my collections?" He said, "No, I didn't." He said, "Did you see the different type of flowers and how I arranged them in the outside and how the colors just match one another?" He said, "I even noticed that." And he said, "Did you see these paints?" And he started asking about things in the house. He said, "No, I haven't seen anything." He said, "Okay, I want you to go do another tour, and I want you to notice all these unique things, and I will ask you how many of them you will remember." So the young man went back and started doing the tour again, focusing what's here, what's there, because he has to walk fast. By the time he came back, he lost what? The drops of oils. He lost it. He said, "You lost the oil? You couldn't keep the oil in the spoon?" He said, "Yes, because I was looking left and right and trying to see this going down to..." So the old man said to him, he said, "The secret of life is to enjoy life while you're still keeping and maintaining your duties." In another way, if this man was able to balance between keeping the oils, the drops of oils inside the spoon while he's enjoying life, he would succeed. Actually, it was just a lesson for that person, to tell that person that the secret of happiness in life is to be able to balance your life. That's absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely correct. The more the people have balance in their life, the people who knows how to balance their life, the more happier they are. The people who knows how to balance their life, the more successful they are. And the moment you lose balance, subhanAllah, the moment you lose balance, the moment you don't enjoy. And put this in every aspect of your life. Look, if you lose balance in your relationship with your family, you lose balance in your business, you lose balance when it comes to relationship with society, when it comes to relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you just think about it, how important this concept is. And I don't see any reason for us as Muslims especially not to be balanced in our life. While Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made us the ummah of wasat. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, وَكَذَلِكَ جَعَلْنَاكُمْ أُمَّةً وَسَطًا لِتَكُونُوا شُهَدَاءَ عَلَى النَّاسِ يعني لِتَكُونوا عُدُولٍ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that He have made this nation a nation of wasat. Wasat, it means middle. And one of the meaning of wasat has so many meanings, but one of it definitely is balance, because you sit exactly in the middle. And you might read in the tafsir, wasat, it means just, because justice, it means not to go to any one of the two extremes, this way or that way. And it's so unique that this is verse number 143. I don't know if you know what that means. Surah Al-Baqarah, this is a verse in Surah Al-Baqarah, it is 286 verses. So that's just fall exactly in the middle of the verse, of the surah. Anyway, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also said, وابتغ فيما آتاك الله الدار الآخرة ولا تنس نصيبك من الدنيا. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, but seek through that which is Allah has given you the home of the hereafter. And yet, don't forget your share of this world. Yet, don't forget your share in the world, in this world. To build that balance between the hereafter and the dunya, this worldly life and the next, this life that you have in the next. That's why Imam Al-Sa'di rahimahullah is a great scholar of tafsir in modern days. He said, يعني استمتع بدنياك استمتاعا لا يلثم دينك ولا يضر بآخرتك. This verse means enjoy your dunya, your life, this worldly life, in a way it will not affect your relationship with Allah, and it will not make you lose the hereafter, lose the akhirah, lose the akhirah. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam said to Salman al-Farisi, Sadaqt, you have said the truth. In regard to what? In regard the advice that Salman al-Farisi have given to Abu Darda radiallahu anhu arda. Salman gave a beautiful advice to Abu Darda. He said to Abu Darda, Inna li rabbika alayka haqqa, wa inna li nafsika alayka haqqa, wa li ahlika alayka haqqa, fa'a'ti kulli dhi haqqin haqqa. Abu Darda was giving a beautiful advice by Salman al-Farisi, which he said, Allah has right upon you, as well as your soul, your body has right upon you, as well as your family has right upon you. You should give each and every one his right. When the Prophet ﷺ heard that from Salman, he said, you have said the truth. You have said the truth. Hanzala ibn Rabi' al-Asdi, one of the companions, one of the writers, the Kuttab al-Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said, once I met Abu Bakr, then Abu Bakr told me, how you find yourself, ya Hanzala? قلت نافق حنظلة. I think I'm hypocrite. Then Abu Bakr said, Subhanallah, what you saying? That's wrong. Don't say anything like that. Then he said, yes, when I attend the Prophet ﷺ's gathering and classes and reminder, and he reminds us of the Jannah and the Nar, I feel like as if I see it in front of me. My iman score very high, go up. But when I leave the Prophet ﷺ, قال فإذا تركنا النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وعافسنا وفي رواية لاعبنا الأزواج والأولاد والضيعات. When we go back home with family, with kids, with spouses, with work, with this busy life, things change. I don't feel the same way. I don't see the paradise in front of me like the way I see it when I'm attending the Prophet ﷺ's gathering or reminder, or when I pray with him. Then he said, that's why I feel I'm a hypocrite. I'm one time like this and one time like that. Then Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu arda said, I think everybody feel the same. And it's impossible that everybody is a hypocrite. He said, everybody feel the same. قال إنا لنجد ما تجد. Let's go to the Prophet ﷺ, ask him what the Prophet ﷺ told them. He said to them sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, لو تدومون على ما تكونون عندي وفي الذكر لصافحتكم الملائكة على فرشكم وفي الطرقات. If you remain in the same status of iman that you have while you're attending the gathering and the reminder and the classes and the salah, if you maintain that level of iman, angels will shake your hands in the streets, and it will come to greet you in your homes. But you can't reach that level. ساعة وساعة يا حنظلة. ساعة وساعة يا حنظلة. It is basically 1 time, 1 hour like that and 1 hour like that. In other words, you know that it is not a balanced life, that you live like this all the time, that where you thinking that your iman will be 110%. That's not even a balance. It's impossible. But he said sallallahu alaihi wasallam, 1 time you're going to be like that and 1 time you're going to be like this. When you are attending the reminder, your iman goes high and up. When you're at work, it will go a little bit, you go back to balance it again. That's normal life. To balance between the dunya and the akhirah, to balance between the right of your own soul upon yourself, yourself, there is a right for your own body, it has to be fulfilled, versus the rights of others. So many times we care about our spouses and our family in the expense of our own selves. And I say that And I will say it again. And so many times we care about our spouses and our family and our children in the expenses of our own selves sometimes. Yes, we sacrifice with this, but not in the expense that you harm yourself. It has to be balanced. It has to be balanced. So many times family comes, our sister usually comes and tell me, I'm only living this life with this man just because of the kids. And I told her, you know what, I think you're wrong. You're wrong, yes, maybe but in certain situations, she is absolutely wrong. I said, you know what, you save yourself, because if you continue this way, you're not going to be able to help your children. You're both going to be basically going to be lost cases. So sometimes we don't balance that. Also balance the right of my family and the right of my community. Balance between the right of the spouse and the right of the children. Spouses often forget after the children arrive and became the focus on them, not on the spouse. Balancing between spending and yourself and enjoying what Allah have given you, and also between wasting and being stingy and holding back. To balance between the mind and the soul and the heart. To balance between materialistic things and also spiritual things. To balance when it comes to dealing with the issue of the unseen world versus the seen world. To be balanced in the way you deal with your time. There is a lot of people that don't know how to balance their time, how to manage their time. So I can go on a very long list, and I think each and every one of it maybe need a workshop, maybe need a several talk in each one of these areas. But what I'm trying to do today, in a quick reminder to all of us, is to raise awareness about the concept of having a balanced life. Then I will share with you a few points. I hope that you can focus on all of them or some of them, that it will help you to build the balance in any area in your life. So these coming points to allow you, to help you to develop that skill of building a balance, the concept of having a balance in your life, that you can apply it in any areas in your life. Number one of the things that help a lot to be balanced in your life, that you always look for the positive things in people or situation that you're in. Don't ever focus, human beings, for whatever reason, we tend to focus on negativity. You know, that's immediately will never help you to be a balanced person. As a matter of fact, those who focus more on positives, their life is more balanced, And focusing on positivity will balance your life. And then Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam gave a beautiful example. And the hadith is Sahih Muslim. He said, لا يفرق مؤمن مؤمنة إن رضي منها إن كره منها خلق رضي منها آخر. In relationship, the Prophet ﷺ said, don't hate your spouse. If you don't like something in your spouse, there is something else you will like. There is something else you will find that you like. بناء هذا التوازن عدم التركيز على السلبيات بل التركيز على الإيجابيات. And that's not against the balance to focus on the positive, because that will balance things in your mind. And instead of just hating your spouse and let them go, you focus on the positive. And Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam entered the house of a man who was sick. زار النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أعرابي. نسأل الله العافية. فالنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, when he saw him, so he's a high fever and he was so sick. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم كعادته قال طهور لا بأس طهور. As the Prophet habit, he said, Tahur, inshallah, this sickness, purification, because every sickness is purification. So the Prophet want to focus on what? On the positive aspect of it. I know he's tired, but the man don't want to see the positive aspect. He only focuses on the pain. So he said, قال كلا. No, it's not purification. هي حمى تفور. هي حمى تثور على شيخ كبير. He said, this is a very high fever, very strong pain, that is an old man suffering from it, and it will lead me to my grave. Then the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam told him, فَنَعَمْ إِذًا. If that's what you expect, that's what you're going to get. In 2 days, he died. And if you rewind, this hadith originally in Al-Bukhari, in one narration in Al-Tabarani, in a couple of days later on, the man died. But just negativity. It will make you absolutely lose balance. It will make you divorce your spouse. It will make you be unjust and unfair to people, especially to individuals. When people focus only on that sheikh or that da'ah or that group or this organization or this masjid mistakes or this business mistakes, and that's the only thing that you focus on, you will lose balance and you will be unjust and unfair to people. But if you start focusing on the positive and seeing it in a balanced manner, things will change. Number two, in order for you to have a balanced way of life and balance in looking at things, be an optimistic person. And I put them together because very close to each other. Be optimistic. Those who are pessimistic, they cannot have a balanced life, subhanAllah. Pessimistic people, the pessimism kills the concept of balanced life. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam used to be an optimistic person. He loved optimism sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Look at the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in one of the most famous incidents, the incident of Uhud, when the incident of Ta'if, when the people of Ta'if rejected the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, treated the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam bad, even physically they harmed the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, plus the emotional rejection and hurt. They hurt the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam emotionally and physically. So Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, in a moment of, you think it's a moment of weakness, where he's so emotionally down by the rejection that he got from those people. And all of a sudden Jibreel come to him with the angel, introduced to the Prophet ﷺ as an angel, the angel who in charge of the mountains. He said, give him an order right now and he will destroy this whole entire village. He said, no. Not because they might be good, they might change in the future. No. He said, لَعَلَّ اللَّهِ يُخْرِجُ مِنْ أَصْلَابِهِمْ. That might come out of them. Generations will come later on out of them who worship Allah. I'm not going to ask for destruction to them. Very optimistic. He looked very far, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. That's why those pessimist people, those who always look things bad gonna happen, you know what they do? They just lock themselves up in a dark, tiny hole, a rotten, dark, tiny hole, and they don't enjoy the spacious, beautiful life around them. Number three, من أعظم مظاهر one of the most clear ways of losing balance الحدية في التعامل مع الأمور. دي مشكلة عقلية, it's a psychological problem I call it, which is a narrow-minded way of thinking. And this can be manifested in two ways, and pay attention to it, because a lot of people have this mentality, very narrow-minded, and this can be manifested in two ways. One, that you don't give people many options. Those who live with life with no options, with no many options, always unable to balance their life. Those who deal with others that it is either this or that, and I give you no option, otherwise you will be judged by me. Those people usually cannot balance their life, cannot balance their life. Do you know the successful da'iyah, the successful imam, the successful sheikh is the one who gives people options, not strip people from options. Islam never else, if you notice in Islam, there is always options available. And it's just not one or two. And the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam always opened the option. But don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying option to play games with the religion. No, option in the promises of the Sharia. But the Sharia have plenty of options when it comes to dealing with people. That's why there is always this mentality that it is basically not giving people choices in their life will not help, or you don't give yourself multiple choices in your life, you will not help yourself to have a balanced life. And the second manifestation of it is the narrow-minded also, because you go either 100 or 0. You don't know how to settle with less than that. It's either, I said, it's either wine or Zamzam. You don't know how to drink Ozarka. You know, it's either you go to the two extreme. That mentality is another psychological problem. You know, life doesn't work this way. You can't just either I want it to be 100% correct, or you know what, I'm not going to do anything. You know, either you do this or I'm going to divorce you. Either this sheikh or no sheikh. Either this group or no action should be done, or no activity should be taking place. Either this college, or you know what, who cares about education? Flexibility is the key to create a balanced life. A balanced life. And I have seen this in so many ways, especially with dealing with others, that this is a very big problem in making us losing balance when we deal with others. Number 4, which is being realistic. Practicality and being realistic rather than being idealistic, it will help you to have a balanced life, to think in a balanced way. Those who live in the world of dreams cannot be balanced in real life. Those who, especially I found this with people who read a lot of books and novels, and especially also in ilm area, those who read a lot of the books of Turath, the traditional books, who live with the book, they became idealistic. I was reading that day, the Hanafis books. It was interesting. One of the Hanafi, I was reading the issue of the ruling in regard to the one who don't pray at all. So one of the Hanafi scholars said, قال وترك الصلاة بالكلية مسألة خيالية لا يتصور وقوعها. He said, to imagine that there exists a person who don't pray at all, that's an imaginary scenario. It cannot be a real scenario in life. Because for him, that's impossible. I'm just giving you an example. Sometimes when you read books written another time, you live in another time. You don't live in your time. You don't know what's going on in life. You give options and solutions that are not practical because you live in another world. And that's a big problem. That's a big problem. And I'm saying this because unfortunately a lot of our youth today are raised by social media. Are raised by not a virtual world, not a real world. And that's a big problem in future. Wouldn't help them to be balanced in their life and their approach. A lot of people, especially when they tend to be religious, they become so idealistic. Take things in a very idealistic way. Life is not like that. Allah doesn't want us to be ideal and perfect. He didn't create us to be that way. We have to know how to be practical, to know how life is. And don't again misunderstand me. I'm not saying that the reality is correct always. But the reality is reality. You have to deal with it. You have to know how to deal with it. Number 5, procrastination. Those who procrastinate, they will never have a balanced life. Inshallah, when I get married, I'll put hijab. Inshallah, we'll come back for Hajj. I'm going to start coming to the masjid on a regular basis. Inshallah, when the summer comes, I'll start losing weight. Inshallah, after this, I'll start my business. When I reach 30s, I'll start making saving. When this, I will look for a marriage. So basically you always procrastinate, and this comes and the next one goal comes and next timeline comes, and you still keep pushing it back and back and back. And every time you wait for a future, you're only making your future shorter. Every time you wait for your future, the only thing you're doing, you make your future shorter. That's what you're doing. You know what? Go grab it. Don't just delay. Don't just wait for it. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ja'alna wa iyyakum muwaffaqin. أقول ما سمعتم واستغفر الله لي ولكم استغفر. الحمد لله وحده والصلاة والسلام على من لا نبي بعده وبعد. My brothers and sisters, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created in us soul, emotions, our heart, mind, and body. These 4 areas, if you don't nurture them, you will not be able to have a very good balance in life. Nurturing your mind by reading, by challenging yourself intellectually. Come on, it's enough giving your brain a break for very long. People just look for their way easy out. The more you intellectually challenge yourself, learning new skills, reading new books, learning something new, that will intellectually stimulate you. I saw my kid that day. Don't be like my kid. I told him that day, hey, you need to improve your reading skills. You can't watch this. Then he turned on the subtitles so he can read. I like the way you think, but you know what? It's the end of the same result. I want you to develop the habit of reading. What I'm trying to say here is intellectually you have to nurture your mind. You have to nurture your soul. Come closer to Allah. Read more Quran. Often pray to your Lord. Come early to the masjid. Nurture your soul. And there's nothing will nurture your soul with balance that. Also, your emotions. You need to be loved, to care. And this will happen by having a good social life. Nurture this because you need it. If you don't nurture in these areas, it will lead you not to be able to have balanced life. And finally, your body. You know what? Exercise. Give yourself a rest sometime. Give yourself a rest, a break, relaxations moment. An hours, maybe in the week. Work. Staying late in the night. It's not going to help. So you have to, if you nurture these 4 areas, I guarantee you, the way you deal with things in life will be more balanced because you are the inner soul, or you internally are balanced. So you can deal with the external things in a balanced way as well. Number 7, knowledge. Because if you have knowledge, you will be able to put things in the right perspective. Number 8, be patient. Self-control. Those who don't know how to have a self-control, you cannot balance things in the right way. Also, number 9, take a good role model of balanced people in your life. And the best role model, Muhammad ﷺ, see and study his life, try to look for this area in the process, how he balanced his life, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, how he managed all these areas to cover it in the same time and excel in each and every one of them. You know what? Have a good role model in life. Don't be hanging out with losers, mediocres. He's not your friends that you look up to. It's sad if they're the most mediocre people in your life are your own parents. That'd be sad. Don't look at them as model. Look at people who are balanced. You can look at them in one area maybe. They are balanced in this area, take them. But try to hang out, to be around, to look up to. Try to be yourself a role model for your children to be a balanced person. Finally, brothers and sisters, let me end with this. I think one of the most important thing, or it's too quick, the number 11 is to good planning will help you to balance your life. But the one that I want to end with, the greatest way to balance your life is actions. This subject is not a theoretical. It is action. You leave this khutbah and you leave this Jumu'ah and you have action items in front of you. I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4 to change things in my life, step by step. You know, there is a man who died 2007 by the name of, I don't know if I pronounce his name right or not, Dishrath Manhaji. He's from India. Gulhor village. This man is an amazing man. Even they made a movie about his life. This man, his wife was so sick, and he wanted to take her to the hospital, but the hospital is very far away, about 70 kilometers away from where he lives, in his village. So he took her finally, but she died, his sweetheart died in the way to the hospital. It's very far away. It's very far away. Just what is so sad that the hospital just right behind the mountain. So he called the government, talked to the Indian government at that time, if they will have a tunnel through the mountain so they can go through it, so can connect the village to the city, to the where is the basically education, where everything is. He called them, begged them, nothing. After the death of his life, he didn't lose balance. You know why? Because he took actions. He decided to make a difference. And for 22 years, every day in his life, 22 years every day in his life, he will take his axe and he will go to the mountain and start digging a tunnel with his own hand. Until after 22 years, he went through from one side to another by himself. They interviewed him and they told him, were anybody helping you? He said, for so many years I have been called the insane, the man who went mad after the death of his wife. He's majnoon, crazy, because I start doing this on my own. Guess what? What was the result? Darth Manhaji curved a path, 360 foot long, 110 meters through cut. 25 feet deep, which is 7.6 meters, in place and 30 feet wide, which is 9.1 meters, to form a road through the mountain. And instead of taking 70 kilometers, it now takes 15 kilometers. For the first time, the village, they had a school bus to take the kids. They had an access to medical care. And the man, he died with a cancer, bladder cancer, and he was recognized as a national figure in India. But what it takes is actions. A man, he was known as the mountain man. Go ahead and study his life or read about his life. And there is even a movie was made about his life. That's what's really going to balance your life. It's not just talking about it. That's why I have an action items for each and every one of us for this coming summer vacation. Make every week there is a special time that you spend with your children for fun, for religious activity. Number 2, put quality time for your spouse. Number 3, participate in an activity, physical activity, in a daily or a weekly basis. We have here in this masjid every Sunday walk in the morning, 7 a.m. in the Challenger Park, 8 a.m. You can come and join us with your family. We used to have a bike club, and I wish to see it coming back soon. Put a time for yourself to read books. One book just in this summer. One new book to read. It's not much. Maybe a series of CDs to listen to if you're not a reading person. Plan for Ramadan from now, from this weekend. Plan what you're going to do for Ramadan. Make sure that you participate at least in one social activity during the summer break. I want you to plan to reach one of your neighbors in your neighborhood. Just one neighbor. Reach out to them and get to know them. Maybe it will be a good idea to establish a new friendship. And please, when I say friendship, I don't mean to add a friend in your Facebook. No, I mean to add a friend to your real life. Someone to get to know someone that you don't know before. I would like you to commit to a 1 weekend to spoil yourself. 1 weekend, you deserve it. Wallahi, I know in this masjid a very hard-working fathers. And I know in this masjid, in this community, a very hard-working mothers. They deserve a break. You know what? Tell your kids, your family, I'm taking 2 days break. I'm just going to go stay in a hotel with my friends. I'm going to go fishing. I'm going to go deep sea fishing. I'm going to go rafting. I'm going to do crazy, bungee jumping. I'm going to go to Texas, city, do skydiving course for 3 hours, then jump off the airplane. I'm going to do just something crazy. Relax for myself. I'm going to go just read a book, relax. Just do something for yourself. Make sure that you put that. You deserve that. I sent my wife for 2 days break. I said, you know what? You've been doing a lot of the kids. I don't want you. Just go. Preserve a hotel for her. I said, go. God bless Priceline. You don't need to spend much money. Just go. Just leave all the kids. Don't think about anything else. They deserve it. We deserve it. That's something to help you to balance your life. Finally, I suggest Isha in this masjid is 9:30. It's 9:30 every day. Would you make a commitment to come 10 minutes before Isha every day? 10 minutes. Come 9:20 every day. You know what? 9:20, come here. Just wait 10 minutes, read Quran, make dhikr, make dua. Just a commitment. These just examples and practical points. You can change it, but it's an action items to balance this life. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ja'alna wa iyyakum muwaffaqin. Allahumma ighfir lana warhamna wa'afina wa'fu anna wa akrim nuzulana wa aslih akhiratana. Allahumma inna nas'aluka ya dhal jalali wal ikram ilman nafi'a wa amalan saliha. Allahumma inna nas'aluka an tusliha niyyatina wa an tusliha saraira qulubina. Allahumma ista'milna fi ta'atik ya hayy ya qayyum. Allahumma inna nas'aluka ya dhal jalali wal ikram an taghfir lana wa liwalidina wa liman lahu haqqun alayna. Wa salli Allahumma wa sallim ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa alihi wa sahbihi wa qumu للصلاة يرحمكم الله.
الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن